What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. I hope you are all doing well. Those here live right now, what's going on? We have a holiday in the US today, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The markets are definitely reflecting that. We have a light session coming into New York. We've seen low volume, and I'm sure we're going to continue to see low volume. Nevertheless, I'm going to take a review of the markets. There's a really important story. Many of you are familiar with Lance Armstrong. Now, we all know that Lance Armstrong, was using drugs, enhancing, performance enhancing drugs, and obviously it's very prevalent in cycling, right or wrong. That's not the point of the story. The fact is he was doing it, but the story has to do with Lance's work ethic. Now, it was New Year's, and Lance called up this guy from Germany. I believe his name was Ulrich, and he was probably the second best cycler in the world. And Lance was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm celebrating the new year. I'm out with a bunch of friends, and we're drinking." And Lance says, "Oh, I'm out there doing a 200K run training." And Ulrich knew right then and there that Lance was going to beat him in the next Tour de France. And it's that type of work ethic, and it's really important to me to spend the time this morning here, just do a quick review of the charts. Even if our session is much shorter than normal, I want to be completely in flow. That's what is important to me. I want to be a little forward looking right now, take a look at the calendar. By the way, anyone just joining us on the replay, what's going on? Glad you're here with us. MHB, good morning. Yard, may God bless you too. Thank you for that. Mima, Andreas, Stephen, Blair, what's going on, everyone? Yeah, there's a reason certain people are successful and others are not. Looking forward, big deal, obviously, tonight, Bank of Japan, monetary policy statement. We have rate statement coming out of the Bank of Canada Wednesday, followed by the ECB on Thursday. It's a big week, followed by more big Euro heavy news on Friday, starting off with the French flash services PMI, and then 15 minutes later, the German flash manufacturing and services. And then you'll have Christine Lagarde also speaking later. Pound PMI numbers coming out as well. So it's a very busy week on the calendar. Let's see what's going on right now, just following the charts alone. And the first thing that I want to say is obviously that there's not much movement on the charts. It's been a light day so far. All right. So that's definitely expected through the rest of this session. Nevertheless, sometime when there's light volume, you have some funky movements and sharp movements. Angela, Maria, good morning. MHB, you spent a lot of time here with us lately. Really good to have you. So don't worry about how many pips you need. Just take whatever the market gives you. And either which way, like, really develop that mindset. Don't worry about how much money you think you need to produce. Don't worry about how many pips you think you need to produce. Just go for what the market is giving you. All right, let's get started. Let's start with Bitcoin today. Start with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin over the weekend came up into the pocket between 9,100 and 9,400 that we were looking at as a resistance zone, and it did come off. It came off rather strongly, nice and hard. Now, if you were playing this, some people might have looked to take profits right under the support over here. Some people might have took profits right over here, or some people could have took profits into the zone, or if you were looking for a break of this zone, which we didn't think it would get above 94 yet. without consolidating. You could have had your low, you could have had your stop at the low of this price bar over here, the one that penetrated into the sell zone. Either way, price came back all the way into this next pocket, which is this is a support zone right now, and then you got another strong one below it. So, what's the play over here in Bitcoin right now? Well, the fact that we came into this resistance zone over here, and that we see some candles into it, that's a good sign. I think anyone who's looking to buy off a resumption upwards over here, that's a good strong play. Where's your stop? Well, your stop could be below this support right over here, or you could have it at the low of the bar that makes the high, taking you into the trade. Uh, I think if you get stopped out of either trade, it's a good idea to stay out. Either wait for price to be a false break and come back up, or from price to come into this next support over here. All right, let's take a look at the DXY. You see the DXY is breaking out over here of this trend line over here of this bull flag, but we got this strong resistance right over here. A lot of traders are actually, I believe, watching this area over here. I know I am. I know we have been. If we get above here, we got to go bullish dollars, right? I think obviously we're going to see a resolution happen this week. I was looking at the calendar this morning to see any type of catalyst, right? But we don't have the ECB until Thursday, and then the PMIs out of the EU on Friday. Is it gonna take that long? I don't know. We're gonna have to watch it day by day. But there's no big catalysts coming up until Wednesday to Thursday and Friday on the euro, and I don't see anything on the dollar ahead of that as well. So we're just gonna have to watch purely the technicals and price alone. Yeah, Blair, good luck. I think restarting your computer and resetting your resources is the best way to go, for sure. He probably can't hear me though if the stream's not loading. So thanks for typing that, Blair. What do I see happening on the US dollar, Canadian dollar? So I see what's consolidating here. Coming into Tuesday, we have the Bank of Canada. That's obviously going to be the catalyst with the resistance over here. So long term, what do I think's happening? That really depends on what happens with the dollar. I have no idea if the dollar holds this area over here, this is heavy resistance, but doesn't mean it's not going to break. And if it does break, I think a lot of traders are going to flip flop and become really, really, really strong dollar minded. And you could see sometimes, don't get into the mindset of, well, if it breaks above, I want to see like if you break this resistance, you don't get caught on the wrong side. You might have a lot of money coming in here, getting long dollars, because technically that's what the chart's showing. All right. Smart money sees this. They see this bull flag. They've been watching. You get above this resistance here, we got to be long dollars. Now, so if the dollar gets long here, the Canadian dollar at the very least is coming up and trading into this resistance over here, right? Is it possible this could break out? Yeah, look at this. Look at what's going on here in the Canadian dollar. Right? I'm sorry, that's a bad line. You have this one and then this one above it. You get above here, dollar could be booming, right? Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the dollar. If the dollar holds over there and the dollar comes back into here, for sure the Canadian dollar is going to be making new lows. So I don't know. It's a big day on Tuesday. Let's see what price does. You have your resistance right up here. This is your resistance right up here. You break it, pretty high probability we're coming up into this pocket over here as well. Huncho, nice solution. And definitely after the live stream, reset your computer. I just reset my computer before getting live today. after the weekend. So I believe it was Anita who pointed out this head and shoulders on the euro US dollar, and definitely looks like it's in play. And not only that, you saw the break, the retest, and now we're going down. But you do have strong support right here, also on the between 1.1064 and 1.1084, where we are right now, is a pretty strong supply buy zone. So some work to do. If we break down here, this means the DXY also broke up. Light volume day today, it seems. So that's the first thing to be aware of. Australian dollar, US dollar, she's holding up pretty well still. I saw the Australian dollar came off pretty hard today. I don't know if that was any type of data related or what the situation was. Maybe something out of China. Definitely weak on the day, but still holding above this support over here, right? And so far has the potential to put in a higher low. So that continues to look pretty good. You get below this support over here anyway, and again we have this area over here. So again, a lot going on. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen looks pretty good here, right? I know that you have a high impact news event. What does that mean? Do you have to stand aside? No, it just means you have to know where your stop is. Definitely, they could go with you or for you when things are volatile. They could take out stops and things like that. But while you're above this support we have over here, technically that looks pretty good. What happens if you take out that support? Where are we going? Well, the next support area is right over here between these two. Let me turn that over to support. You have the monetary policy statement out of the Bank of Japan tonight. That's going to affect Japanese yen pairs possibly as well. That could be the first catalyst the market looks to in Asia today to do something. Pound Japanese yen. Oof, still, I mean, it looks good now after coming off this resistance over here, and then this support down here holding again. Looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Yeah, Hanero, what's going on? Absolutely good way. Very important. Is going to highlight that for 1 second. Love the fact that you're able to recognize the condition of the market. Really super important. No matter the time frame you're trading, especially on the lower time frames. Are you in a trend day? Are you in a choppy day? Are you in a range day? You have low volume. Very important. Good job. I'm not taking any trades today, right now. Any new trades. I'm looking what's going on, doing a nice review of the market. And first thing we started off with was the fact that we have Dr. Martin Luther King Day, and it's a light trading day going into New York, and New York should be continue as such. I just saw a comment about Euro Japanese yen. Look like it's going down. Looks like it's coming down right now into support. Right, we had this big overhead resistance over here, and now we're along this trend line support over here. You can see the touches in the past, and now we're back on it. So resuming off there, pretty positive. Again, you have the Bank of Japan monetary policy meetings tonight. Don't forget, you also have another support right below it. So this is definitely, don't pick tops, right? This is still pretty bold. This is very bullish. Step back, right? So it looks interesting as well. So there's a lot of waves coming in. A lot of waves coming into the market right now. Just a quick look at gold. Gold continues to consolidate in the area that we've been looking to, and it's also riding up that channel. So not anything going on there, anything tradable right now that I see on gold. Just the fact that it continues to consolidate. Let's look at the pound US dollar. Ooh, This has come down and touched our trend line support. That is cool. Dollar is also at an interesting level. I don't think there's anything critical for the until we come into the PMIs on Friday on the pound. I don't think there's anything else on the calendar that could affect the pound. Nothing else on the calendar, so it's kind of a technical play here. And the U.S. dollar obviously is at a pretty critical juncture, and then also the pound U.S. dollar. So this is interesting. If we get below this support here, a trade to the downside definitely develops, right? For me, a trade to the downside is definitely worth looking at over here. Why? Because you have a good risk reward coming into this support down here, and if the support breaks, well, and that means the dollar was breaking out. There could be a significant trade here. So this is very interesting this week, to say the least. And right now, coming off the support, you're at a place where you want to take a look at a buy. Maybe risk reward up here looks pretty good too. You have your trend line over here, the low over this bar, which is right above the support. Going into this resistance up here alone, the risk reward is also very good. So pound US dollar is absolutely in play at a critical juncture. All right, what else? Um, New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Nothing there for me at all. Between this resistance and support. Also, if I just take my line horizontal, I get a better look. Obviously, I'm gonna put this resistance up. Oops, sorry. This resistance up here. All right. So nothing going on there at all. No edge whatsoever. Euro New Zealand dollar. Mm, pretty good resistance over here. I don't see anything. I don't see an edge either which way. Again, you could see a lot happening on for example on the pound US dollar, right? I don't see anything happening here. Let's keep moving along. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Ooh, looks like it's obviously holding above the support. I have a stop in at 75.44, but it's now below this last impulse over here right now. Pretty critical point. Bank of Japan monetary policy meetings this evening could be a catalyst. If we get below here, um, don't get caught holding a trade here to the downside. Get out if you're wrong, because the next support is not down. It's about what is that, about 80 pips lower. All right. I want to look and check in on the Swiss franc, Japanese yen. All right, currently still holding. I saw a reason why the Swiss franc has been so strong over the weekend. I looked at a chart, and it had to do with the Switzerland's surplus uh, versus their investments, and basically the country's just making a ton of money, and they have nowhere to put it. Yeah, we already took a nice look at the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Boom, boom, boom. You might want to just pull back a little bit in the live stream to see, because we just got started here. But right now you're above this support over here. It's currently holding. You have just on Wednesday the Bank of Canada rate statement, so obviously that's in play. Uh, you know, and also tonight on the JPY, you have the monetary policy meetings. So a bunch of news events. It's hard to tell, right, how the price is going to react to news events, right? That's We're not going to get into that right now. That could be like a webinar in its own. different ways price could react to different type of data and how it comes out. Uh, Trading the technicals alone over here, you know where your support is, right? You know where you're wrong. Um, is this something that I'm looking to take a trade on right now? I'm not. I don't know. We have a lot of uncertainty on both those pairs right now. We have the monetary policy meetings, coming into effect this evening, and then you also have, Wednesday, the Bank of Canada. You're above support over here. Your next support is down here. Yeah, I'm still holding my US dollar, Canadian dollar. Why? Well, I want to. If dollar makes above this resistance, I still have my original stop loss in. If dollar makes it above this resistance up there, and for sure the Canadian dollar is stopping me out, I'm out of the trade, as well as my stop is in at 1.3088, and if it holds up here, my trade's going to fall well into profit after consolidating really well over here. So I'm still into the trade, and we've been sideways since I've been in it. So I just need one quick 30 seconds right here. All right, back with you. Sorry about that, and appreciate the patience on that. Yeah, Martina was also pointed out on the DXY. You could see a possible head and shoulders as well, right? So this is the line that's in play for me right here, though, and not only me, for a lot of traders. But did you see one on the US dollar, Canadian dollar, head and shoulders forming? No, I don't think so. So I'm gonna stop. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But we're obviously, I mean, all of us are aware of it, which is good. There are a lot of traders who are kind of trading the market, not aware of their surroundings. It's kind of like if you're out in the ocean, right? You want to know where their nearest island is. You want to know where the currents are. You want to know everything that's going on around you to give you any type of indication of where you are and where you need to go. It's the same thing right here. I feel safe because I know what's going on around me. You don't know what the market's going to do, but we have these guides. Whereas there are traders in the market right now who are, they're looking at, buying or selling this today, and they have no idea. First of all, that probably it's even a holiday in the U.S. Second of all, at the important levels we're at, and you know, the best you could do is the best you could do. All you need to do is have your very important levels and trade off them accordingly. So Gabe, going back to the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, we looked at it pretty quick into the live stream. I think pulling back and just taking a look. By pulling back, I mean you just go over here to this, and you could pull it to wherever it is, and you could look on the chart to see when you see the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. I'm just kind of myself getting an idea. I never played with that before. I've done that. So a lot of likes this morning. Appreciate that, everybody. Appreciate that very much. Let me pause that for you. We'll come back into here, and let's see what's next. Let's see everything that's going on. Pound Australian dollar is continuing to hold right above the support. It's kind of funky now. This area of support I have over here as we've come up into here. This is unclear then for me now. Though I could see another line right there. This is unclear for me right now. If you're watching this pair at this point, I would just be watching and waiting for a break of the neckline. If that's what happens, it's held over here. I would watch this neckline over here still as an important place of interest. Also, obviously, it's a little bit easier leading into the pound US dollar right now, being at the level it's at. I like the pound US dollar. It makes it easy when you're at such important levels to trade it. So I'm going to be watching that later today. See what I'm going to see a plan going into London on that. That looks like no man's land to me. Why? I see support, resistance, and we're in the middle of it. This continues to be just sideways, right, for a long time now. This is getting ready maybe for a big move, but nothing I could see or do right now to help me. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar is now below this area I have over here of resistance. Stepping back, it looks like pretty solid place to put a resistance line. What that means is you have the Bank of Canada on Wednesday. That could be a nice catalyst. Let's see what happens coming into Wednesday. Let's see if we're able to retest this. And even still, I mean, I'm not going to take a trade here. If you saw Canadian strength coming out of the Bank of Canada meeting, this could be a place to play it. But it's too early for that. That's not until Wednesday morning, New York session. Well, US dollar, Japanese yen, we haven't looked at it yet. Again, this is a light session right now. It's a holiday in New York. It's Monday. I want to be on my game. I want to know what's going in the markets. It's a big week. It's a heavy week on the calendar, and it's a huge week technically. So this is a big week. You want to be on your game here. All right, US dollar, Japanese yen. Ooh, nothing I could see, but I see a bunch of inside bars. A bunch of higher lows and lower highs. We're coming to a pretty important area over here. You have the Bank of Japan meeting tonight. That could be a catalyst. US dollars at an important place. Oof, right? US dollars at an important place. US dollars at an important place. Why is that important? Because we could see some big moves happen over here if we get this breakout, right, on the dollar. Just keep watching. Keep watching. I do not like if the dollar breaks out. I'm not interested in playing it versus the Australian dollar. Although you have some room to the downside over here. Of course, this blue box is where the real support comes into. So on the DXY, if you broke out over here, that might not be to this resistance over here, right? But that's pretty big resistance as well. Just if we break out over here, you have to be long dollars. But once you get up here, that's a lot to work through. So I don't like the Australian dollar against the dollar. If the dollar weakens, I like the Australian dollar strength, and I like the Canadian dollar strength and New Zealand dollar, commodity currencies, right? If the dollar's weak, I like it against the euro. I think I like it against the pound if it breaks down over here. I like the possibility below this support. seeing what develops into this next support over here, because the risk to reward going into here is good. If you break below this support, dollar starts breaking out. We'll see. Could be some fireworks over there. All right. So the first thing I noticed, the first thing I noticed this morning, I looked and I saw that nothing had moved anywhere. I look at the percentages, right? And I looked at the percentages, and nothing had moved. Right away, that brought my mind to the fact that it was a holiday in the U.S. and it was going to be a light day coming into the U.S. I don't expect anything else to change. We're only a half hour into our session. I feel much better now, taking a look around. If anyone, I think the United States is planning on signing the USMCA this week, the trade pact with Canada and Mexico. Peso continues to strengthen. Um, I'm not sure what type of effect that might have on the peso and the Canadian dollar, but definitely something to watch out for. That's not on the calendar. I'll have to follow that from other sources. For me, that's normally Twitter. All right. So, what's going on, everyone? Anything you guys want to look at, discuss this morning? It's going to be a short session this morning. Again, it's a holiday, light volume. This was, well, it's going to be a short session unless the discussion becomes really interesting and me and all of you want to stick around and participate in it. But as far as our normal session goes, this is not basically a live active session because of the holiday in New York, the light volume. It's more of getting our bearings and making sure we know exactly what's going on. It's a busy week. It's a good busy week on the calendar, and it's a busy week technically, an important one. All right. So this is the week to be on your game, and let's see what's going to happen. And right now, being on your game means understanding and recognizing right now in this moment, nothing's happening. Very important. So appreciate the response, whether it's a like or dislike. I could definitely see why someone would have seen this, half hour session and been like, "That's terrible," but I appreciate it for real. You know, do you? As far as anything else, again, if you guys don't have anything you need to discuss, normally we go 3 hours. We stream live every day, 9 a.m. Eastern time for the New York session. Planning our trades. I'm a swing trader. Planning our trades for the upcoming sessions as well as New York session live trades. Later in the day, close towards the beginning of Asia or the close of New York, anything new that's developing, any new trade setups that are active that I'm looking to enter, either during London or the upcoming session in New York, I'll go ahead and post in the Telegram. The Telegram is in the description right over here. You could go. I do a 1 to 3 minute on TradingView, and then post it onto on the Telegram to alert you. Raymond, we didn't look at crude this morning. Let's look at crude, and then we'll go back to take a look at the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. We did. Crude was it's up on the day, slightly bid. It opened up above this resistance over here, and so far has traded above. But I also see, if you were just to visualize a trend line right over there, that's holding up pretty well. So crude is neutral in this moment. You have this resistance line right over here. the big support was the one we came into and held, right? So right now it came into the first look at the nearest resistance. There's there's not an edge either way that I say. I think we're neutral on crude. Um, After good morning. It's a light session. We did all the work we're going to need to do, Ultra, in the first 30 minutes here. If you want to go back and watch that. So the first thing I noticed when looking at the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar is the first thing my eyes come to is that price is sideways, right? And you could extend this blue box. And as long as you're inside that blue box, you're pretty sideways. So you do have, what do we have going on this week? Some data out of Wednesday on the Australian dollar. Aside from that, they're pretty even. You're at, could you short this over here if price starts resuming downwards? Yes, right? You're at this resistance level over here. If price were to start making lower lows, do you want to take a short over here? You know where your stop is. That's possible. Uh, you do have, just to be aware, you have higher lows over here putting in. Could you go long over here? I wouldn't. I would want to get above this resistance over here to be taking a look at longs. I've been watching this to see if a bottom is being put in place over here, a long-term bottom, but you got to get above this resistance and stay above this resistance over here for me to have any type of indication that that's what is developing, a confirmation of that. Right now, it's kind of just watching to see if that's what's happening. So it, for me, it's not really offering an edge. The pair that I do like the most today, watching and following, is the pound US dollar. All right. So unless anyone has something they want to look at, we're going to call it a very light session today because of the holiday. And I think that's even going to be more helpful for others, knowing that they only need to watch the first 30 minutes or so. But if anyone wants to take a good look at anything right now, please let me know. Hang out a couple more minutes, unless something opens up that we get into, and then, you know, then I'm happy to stick around longer. All right. So I will probably later today, towards the close of New York, be looking to reassess the market. I'm gonna anything that I'm taking a look at, I'll update you all through the Telegram up on TradingView, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Enjoy the day. Definitely very important for me, for me, Jordan, spend that time this morning, get a view of the market, feel I know exactly what's going on. And again, what's going on right now, the market is not moving. We are at a critical level on the at the dollar. All right, got to watch this closely. We have a heavy calendar. Things are not happening today. Tomorrow, there's nothing on the calendar. Tonight, we have the monetary policy statement out of the Bank of Japan. That could be a catalyst that kicks it off. And in London should be a busy session. It's got to be played technically. All right. All right, everybody. Um, we trade the New York session over here. right? This is this at 9 o'clock every morning Eastern time. We take a look at the market. Now, this also not only helps us set up trades for the New York session, but the work I do during this session, I avoid Asia most of the time, 95% of the time, unless there's a bank announcement out of the Bank of Japan, Australia, or New Zealand. But the work I do here sets up my trades also for London, right? Which I review again going into Asia. I update you all through the Telegram when necessary. The question was on, yep, good summoning, Hernero. Uh, the question was on, why am I pound US dollar? Do I think I'll short it? So this trade I think is really good right now. We're coming into this trend line over here. We're getting another look at it right now. Not only that, the support right below it. So this is a good area of support right here. You trade below it. Am I going to short it? I'm interested in it, and there's a good chance I'll be taking a look at it. I'll update you later. But why? Because my risk to reward is like 3 to 1 or greater going into this support down here, right? Just going into the support. If the dollar starts breaking out over here and we start getting some strong moves with a lot of flows going into the dollar, and this breaks even below this support, this could start breaking down badly. Adversely over here also, coming off this support, there's good risk reward to the upside. I won't take this trade to the upside. If we get above this resistance over here, then I might get interested in taking longs on the pound. But right now, I'm not interested in taking any longs. But you're at a place where you can. US dollar, Canadian dollar, I'm still holding my short. Price is sideways. I have my stop in at 1.3088. Price is sideways basically since I entered it. And I'm still holding the trade because why the US dollar has been strong, Canadian dollar is held up against it. Canadian dollar is sideways, right? Why, for example, the euro has been down. So the Canadian dollar has been strong. And if the dollar does wind up reversing off of this area over here, and the Canadian dollar stays alive, it's going to be leading the way on the way down for me. Of course, on Wednesday is the Bank of Canada's rate statement. They're expected to be on hold. We'll see what happens. All right, everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow. Enjoy your day, and thanks for everything.